Hey there, it's good to see you. Can you believe it's already time for another Pan That Palette update? If you're new to my videos, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I have chosen to pan my Stila in the light palette this year, so let me go on and show you a clip of where I was at the beginning of the year so you can see kind of where I started, because this palette in particular was one of my very well-loved palettes that I've owned for quite a while, so I did have some progress when I started. So here's the clip. And here is where I currently am as far as my palette. The Stila in the Light palette is this dark brown and black shade over to encompass all 10 shades in that palette. I did go on and repurpose it in the Z palette because I was intrigued by a lot of you that are, you know, you're on the mission to hit pan in as many shadows as you possibly can this year. I thought that was a great idea. So kind of what I'm thinking with these other shadows, I'll talk about it as we get more into describing the shadows, but I thought it'd be fun to hit pan on as many of these shades as I possibly can, in addition to finishing my Stila in the Light palette, and that way I don't deter from my goals. So, you know, where did I hit pan this past month? I've actually had a lot of progress. I had to repress Bare. These shadows are just, they're well loved, but at the same time, I'm having a lot of cracking issues because they're old. They still work really well. They're still very buttery and soft on the eyes, but it's just, I've noticed that they are extremely fragile in the pan. So I don't know how many times the shadows are going to be able to handle being repressed, but we'll see how it goes throughout the year. But Bare has been repressed. I did have a little bit of pan showing before it cracked, so I'm just working steadily through it. Bare is the next one that I hit pan in today. You can see that tiny little dent. And just kind of FYI, if you have the Stila in the Light and the Stila in the No palette, which is this combo down here, if you combine the shades Bliss with Rain, which is this shade right here, you get a very similar shade to the khaki shade from the Lorac Mega Pro palette. I've been panning it along with Night Sky here, so that way I make sure that I stay in Stila in the Light. It's helping me to kind of use up some more shadow out of this palette, give me a similar color to what I wanted, because I was using the Tease shade from my Naked 2 palette, but at the same time I was like, let's go on and get back into Stila, because, you know, if I keep putting off using the shadows, even though I'm not afraid of using them up, I need to get in there and use them. Otherwise, I'm going to be under a time crunch and kind of flipping out at the end. So I've really been enjoying that combination. So Rain and Bliss, beautiful as a transition shade. The other thing, as you can see, I've hit pan in is Sandstone. I've been using this to fill in my brows. It also makes a really beautiful crease shade, or if you want to set your liner. And as you can see, I'm not too worried about finishing it, because if you go down here to the In the No palette, these two shades right here, which are Earth, is this one, and Driftwood, very, very similar to Sandstone. So don't be afraid of using shades in your palettes, because as you pan more and more and more, you're going to realize that you find dupes. Even dupes that you didn't think were dupes in the first place. Once you put them on your eyes, you're going to realize that they're very, very similar. So I'm happy to see that, because now I've got some more motivation to get through more shadow in my collection. The other shade that I've hit substantial pan on is Night Sky, but as you can see, I did have to repress it because it cracked. I was able to salvage the pieces that cracked off, but I'm going to go on and consistently use this for as long as I can before I just, you know, switch to a more brown look for summer. And then the one that really surprised me hitting pan is Ebony. It's not going to be easy for me to use Ebony because the black pigment in it is very intense. It's very dark on my eyes. It's too over the top to even wear for a night look right now, and especially as we go into later spring and summer, it's just going to be too much. So I'm going to use what I can from Ebony. I'm extremely happy that I've hit pan, but it may be the end of 2016 before I'm able to really kind of get in there and use it some more, because I'm thinking of using Luster as a liner. So kind of where I am with moving into the rest of these shadows, I was using this Too Faced shade down here. It's called Velveteen Bunny. This came out of the Matte Eyes palette that came out years and years ago. I went on and I hit substantial pan in it, and so I'm going to be done with this for a while. I've moved back into Bare. The other shade that I was kind of thinking, I finished Cashmere from the Lorac Mega Pro palette that was in my finish 7 by Spring. That update is coming within the next few days. And so right now I'm kind of alternating between using Kitten, and this is the Midnight 15 shade from the Urban Decay 15th Anniversary palette. I've kind of been interchanging between the two of these. Kitten is way more gold, whereas Midnight 15 is more silver. Let me go on and swatch these for you so you can see. But I wanted to go on and alternate between these two because I'm thinking with the gray look that I love, I also like Kitten with luster and Kitten with possibly gilded gold. So I didn't want to just use it all up with Night Sky right now. So that's why I brought in Midnight 15. And the other thing I was thinking too, as far as just straight painting the palettes, this gilded gold shade down here, I was thinking of pairing with Flow from the 15th Anniversary palette, just till I hit pan on it, and then I'll go back and work steadily with Bubbly and some of these other lighter shades. So, and then I pulled Bordello to wear with Bubbly, and also too I pulled out, this is Bender, I believe, from the Urban Decay Book of Shadows 4, maybe 3. I'm not real positive on that right now, so don't quote me on that. And then I've got these two. This is Missionary from the Book of Shadows 4. I thought this would be really pretty with luster. And then use like a warm brown in the crease, you know, going with something like Bliss. And then this blue I thought would be really fun as a liner. And of course, like the teal shade, and then coming in with Fire, or some of these, like, you know, more intense matte shades. So that is where I am with the palette. I've been very pleased with it, and in all honesty, these shadows are panning faster than Lorac. Weird, I know. It's just, it was one of those things that I was kind of like, okay, all right. It could be just because they're old, but at the same time, I really wasn't expecting to hit pan as quickly as I did. And also too, let me kind of share this. Kind of keeping in line with Ebony, I think that I'm going to have time to also go in with, this is Cut the Cake. You can have it or access it if you have the Too Faced Romantic Eyes palette, or if you have the Too Faced Shadow Bonbons palette that came out in 2012 or 2013. Maybe it came out in 2012. And then also too, this is the shade First Dance from the Romantic Eyes palette as well. And so I was thinking I might go in there and then start using the Strawberry Bonbon shade out of my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and then continue using Ebony as far as the liner, and then go in with some of these colorful shades just to kind of give me a break, but still stay in the Z palette, because like I said, I'm not really panicked about finishing these at all, because I was really surprised to see that pan in Bliss. I was really surprised to see the pan in Ebony. And then, of course, I'm trucking through. But I'm still going to wear the gray shade probably for the next couple of weeks. And then I'll go on and start doing some more looks like series with some new looks out of this palette. Okay, and that's about it. But as far as some housekeeping duties, I do have a couple things I wanted to talk about with you. Updates coming. I've got Finish 7 by Spring. I've got another looks like, kind of the last one I'm thinking for the Sassed Up with Champagne series. And then also too, if you've been following me on Instagram, you've noticed I had that photo out with the items I'm looking to sell out of my collection. A couple of high-end items. Actually, they're all high-end items, and I found some more things that I think that I'm ready to part with. So I want to make a video so that you can see the status of the items that you're interested in, or get a more detailed description if it's something that you have been wanting, and you want to see exactly what you're getting yourself into. So that video is coming. I will only be accepting PayPal. And as far as you know, if you live in other countries outside of the United States and you're interested in the items, if you use a shipping facility that I can personally use US flat standard rates to send to, I would be more than happy to accommodate you. But I am not looking to do any international shipping and pay those very high fees at this time. So just be aware of that. If you have a shipping facility, I know a lot of you are using Florida. I am more than willing to definitely get those items out to you that way. So be on the lookout. And I did have a lot of questions because I'm looking to sell my Naked palette. I actually got re-gifted the one that I purchased for my sister. And so since I got so many questions, I just want to say that I'm looking to sell it because I'm not ready to step back into it. It is one of those palettes. It's beautiful. It is so great for every single day, but I've got a lot of other makeup that I'm looking to get through. And the other thing that I feel is, as far as my panning journey goes, I feel like at this point I'm ready to tackle the prize fighters, if you will, of the neutral palettes that are hyped up here on YouTube, and then ultimately decide at that point which palette is worth repurchasing. So already with the Urban Decay Naked palette down, the Lorac Pro, this year having Stila in the Light because you can repurchase it with the gold packaging. It's just been renamed. And then next year, Too Faced Chocolate Bar. And I'm thinking after that, I'm probably gonna do semi-sweet, depending on Angela. I'm thinking of you, girl. I don't want the chocolate bar to mess me up. Like seriously, I'm kind of worried that that palette's gonna throw me off in a major way because it's gonna take so long. But you know, after that, I'm thinking probably the semi-sweet or the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette, or maybe even IT Cosmetics. So I figure at that point, I'm gonna know for me which palette is ultimately worth repurchasing. And if it's the Naked palette at that point, awesome. But until then, I feel like, you know, I'm okay with moving on into other areas of my collection and trying out some new palettes. So I'm ready to let it go and let one of you enjoy that palette for yourself. So, and who knows, maybe it'll be kind of fun. You'll get that palette and you'll think, you know, pan that palette every time you open it, and that could be a cool experience too, because then you'll want to use it. So, but in addition to that, I do have some other things that I want to get rid of, like the Vice palette. Oh, I know. I'm not using it, and it's one of those palettes that I'm like, I'm not wearing brightly colored eyeshadow. If I do, I've got the Electric palette. I'm even thinking of kind of letting that one go too, because I got the Kat Von D Shade and Light, or not Shade and Light, Mi Vida Loca remix for Christmas. So I don't need that much brightly colored eyeshadow, to be quite honest. So I don't know, just kind of where I'm thinking, but that video is coming. And I also wanted to make sure that the prices are very fair and comparable to what you find, because I know on some of those palettes, the prices on eBay are ridiculous. But since I have swatched the palettes and used the makeup a few times, like I'm not gonna be, you know, over indulgent with the price, I guess you will, and shipping will be included in that. So as far as the sale goes, it's going to be PayPal only. It'll be first come, first served once the video is posted. I didn't want to directly sell from Instagram because I really, like, I know as a shopper, I want to be aware of what I'm getting myself into, and I think that is fair for me to give you that experience, and also too, so that you know exactly what you're getting before you decide to make that purchase. So that's how I'm gonna do things from now on, is because that's how I feel comfortable, and I hope that you are just as comfortable with that process as well. So that's about it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope that you're having a blast panning your makeup and panning your palettes. Thank you so much for taking on the challenge. It has been exciting, you know, already seeing all the different palettes and what you're doing with your palettes. And so thank you. You're motivating, you're encouraging, and you're so inspiring to me. And I just can't thank you enough for all of your hard work as well. So that is it. Lots coming your way. So I will be seeing you very, very soon. Catch you later.